Hey, welcome in, folks. It's Babbaginator. We're here in the long dark, currently hanging out in the ravine, I believe. No, we're not in a ravine. We're in Winding River. That's right. Do-do-do. Seven. Question. Do we stay here? Do we go back inside? Do we go to the other cave? Yeah, so I don't think we've been up here yet. Hey, Roller. Good to see you. We're just living our simple life up here. You're home. Good for you. It's been a long week for me. I have had a lot of fun teaching this online poetry course for the last 10 days. But we're done. So it's back to real life. Oh, there's only 0.5. There's nothing on this guy. Trying to get some guts off of him here. Okay, we're still sheltered. I was about to say we're still sheltered. We're not. Uh-oh. You're off until pager. Ugh. Oh, I don't like this. We're gonna lose another run. So we freeze to death in the cave. Or do we run to the other cave? Or at least it's going to be guaranteed warm enough. I think we might be able to do that. Yeah, if we stay in this cave, the temperature will fluctuate. That does not make me feel good. So in this situation, I lean towards making our way to the other cave. I spent another day trying to get something working and realizing how little I understand about what I'm trying to do. this one particular like setup. I'm like, well, the other day I got asked to set up a different AI system, and it was done in like an hour and a half. You know, and this one just is a headache. I'm slowly understanding how all the pieces work together, but still confused as to why it's not working as intended. I have some suspicions that maybe I've got the wrong port definition, so they're not talking to each other, and then there's somehow I think there's supposed to be set up as something's supposed to be set up as a service and not as a task, but so many things I just don't know. Yeah. Well, enjoy your. I guess it's not quite a weekend, but it's something like a weekend. Early morning. Start a fire. We still don't have a hacksaw, so I think it's not like there's really any point in waiting for this gut. So let's just keep moving. Pleasant Valley, at least we can find more clothing. Maybe we'll get lucky, find the hacksaw. Should find the hacksaw somewhere. I ordered a bookcase online, which is supposed to arrive sometime today, so keeping an eye out for notification. I think while it's daylight out, there's a good chance they'll deliver it to our, the entrance to the front door for our basement apartment. But if it's after dark, they sometimes leave it on the front of the main house. It's kind of a hassle. Nope. Oh, is this one where we have to drop everything and climb? I think it might be. Nope, that's a walk up. Okay. So yeah, this writing course I taught, I think at least one of the people, maybe two, may turn into longer term clients. That's always nice. And if I decide to run my own classes, I probably have some of them, if not all of them, will probably be happy to return. So yeah, I'm just needing to get my application in for this one position. Also waiting to hear back from university this fall as to whether or not there's going to be something for me in the spring. Part of the PR they're doing for our team is they're going to interview me, actually. They want to interview me, the PR person does, and have me talk about the type of projects and assistance that I've worked on. Projects I've worked on, assistance I've provided. So I think it helps people get a better sense of, yeah, what we can do. Okay, beautiful day. Question is, where are we headed? Guess we go to the hunting blind and then we go to the cave. cave, I think we can go to make our way eventually to Signal Hill. Don't turn into a windstorm, folks. Feels like we may have to wait it out here for a little bit. Yeah. Try something here. Trying to keep a tab open here and see if I can follow what's happening with the what's happening with my package on bookcase. It still shows it's on its way. Okay. Got Astrid's ordering a bookcase. Yeah, the bookcase is basically a couple reasons. One, I'm starting to get too much clutter, like too many books stacked up around the apartment, or really around my room. So I think that's part of it. And then the other thing is I've been thinking what I could add, instead of having these virtual backgrounds, what I could have in my background. So I have a short, like, cube style bookcase that's on the ground. I'm thinking of adding a second bookcase that's a little bit smaller sitting on top of it. And then that would stack up a little bit higher. And then you could see it could be, those shelves could have either books or RPGs displayed. So a little bit more visual interest and maybe some light. We'll see what we do with that. But in any case, that's what I'm looking at, is doing something like that. So that arrives. Oh, and then I'm also getting a headboard for my bed, which is overdue. I've been meaning to do that. More important books, most important books behind me, right? Yeah. Unlike my old setup when I was back in Saskatchewan, the bookcase was literally right behind me. So, like, it really looked good because you could actually see in more detail. These, unfortunately, will be further back just because of the shape of the room. I have thought about, like, if I could reconfigure my desk setup so that I would have a bookcase behind me that's a little closer, but the problem with that is that it really doesn't leave me. The layout would really, yeah, the layout would be problematic because I wouldn't have any real place to stick the bed, right? So yeah, that's kind of the trade-off. So I just need a larger apartment, you know, and I don't. Okay. Anything else we want to do? We can make some quality torches. Can't really make anything, can we? Don't have any oil. Oh, what am I thinking? We should be making oil. Oops. I should get the fat and make oil next time. Um, oh, Tripper's moved up to Seattle. Good for him. Mm, look how miserable it is right now. Yeah, I talked to my mother. I think we're both in agreement that I should stay put until April at least. Um, my sister's debating whether or not she's going to move. If she picks up and moves out of town, my youngest nephew is turning into quite the accomplished musician, trumpet player, and on the verge of going to high school. He's doing jazz trumpet, or he's auditioning for a jazz trumpet team or jazz band. Um, you know, I think sort of kind of a junior jazz band type thing. But yeah, he's apparently quite talented. And the concern is that if they move out of town, he'll have to disrupt his studies. So he might end up staying with my mother, which would be good for my mother to have someone else around. So they probably stay put until the end of the school semester in the spring, the end of the school year, which would be fine with me. Yeah. But I'm really hoping that I get an offer, a really good offer from the university. Or that this offer, that if I do get an offer from this community center library, that I can have enough time and enough income from other things that it balances out, because it's the pay's, yeah, the pay's just not the only thing bad about the job is the pay. So everything else is good. So Wonder how long the storm is going to go for. Whatever happens, it doesn't look like we're going to get out of here anytime fast. Let's see if there's any updates here. Nope, still on its way out for delivery. Uh-oh. Wind is drifting here. Are we going to lose this fire too? I think it's dying down enough that we can take our chance. This is ska day, not a spa day. You should trumpet. Yeah, the nephew that's doing trumpet is the nephew that every so often pops into my stream. So he used to be more active streaming on YouTube. And watching people on Twitch, but he's busy with music now, so I mean, good for him. Is that all there is? Just the thermos? I tried to get him interested in Long Dark, but not interesting enough for him. He prefers Fortnite and the like. Okay, we're gonna get a fire lit inside the cave. That way, even if we lose a torch out here, we'll have a fire still going. It's still midday though. Let's see, backpack with... Oh, we got nothing. No crackers, nothing. Oh, wait a second, maybe we have crackers. Ooh, soda. Soda, but no crackers. Okay. This is our backup fire. Things go bad, we'll know where it is. Still be going even if we lose our torch out there. That's what's supposed to... Whoa, that was trippy. I had a strange day. I was up early, trying to get work done, and paused for lunch. Tried to get some more work done after lunch, and then by like 2 o'clock, my brain just kind of shut down. I just couldn't focus on anything. So I went and took a nap. I was like, I don't need naps all the time, but every so often I just need a nap. I can't even say I had that much of a nap, but I didn't need to close my eyes for a bit and rest. Not stare at the screen the whole time. Okay. I think the wise thing to do here is to keep supply of water here. Take one of these out. What we really want is the hacksaw as soon as we can. We want a hacksaw. Argument might be if we really felt like we could get there. Yeah, the wolf is out there. Yeah, without the hacksaw, this is just a pain. We try, see what happens. But there's not much protection. Probably lose the fire. Yeah. Uh-oh. That's a loss. I don't know. What are we doing here? Didn't really get enough sticks. How cold is it going to be out here? It's 15. Okay, we'll check again, see if there's an update. Nope, still listed as on its way. We'll do another one. We're partway through the night, though. Ooh. Let me make it out of here. Nope. Yeah, we'll do this one. Okay. Got daylight out. Looking good. I'm going to take a short break. Back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Hey, back again. We're grabbing our stuff and going. Too cold to stay here. But let's warm up all our teas because it's going to be frigid out there. An hour and 15 minutes. Don't want to waste that time doing that. Okay. I think we just need to get a hacksaw before we try to do anything else, so let's focus on getting to Signal Hill. See if we can get a bead on the bear. Where are you, bear? What's the bearing on the bear? So yeah, the other thing I have coming in the mail, something I decided to treat myself with. I don't know, treat. I don't know, just move things into a little bit more like less bachelor, more like settled into a place type of feel. When I bought my bed for the apartment, I did not get a headboard, so I decided I saw one on sale on Wayfair, and I knew it was compatible with the bed that I had, and I figured, I'll do it. The other thing the headboard will do is it'll add a little bit more. One, it'll like hopefully eliminate the problem of like the bed sliding further and further away from the wall, and then my pillows falling through the crack. Very annoying in the middle of the night to like lose your pillow. Well, not that my bed moves that much in the night, but still, it's a little bit annoying. But I think the other thing is just really, again, just trying to think about, I mean, I'm not buying a headboard for the sake of streaming, but basically it's just type of visual interest. If I have to have the bed in the background, then at least I can kind of break up that wall monotony by having a headboard there and then a bookcase next to it, and then maybe I'll stick up my degrees on the wall like in a column next to that, and then it'll be just a little bit more interesting back there. And I think maybe I'll look at what kind of art I can stick up too. Been dragging my feet. There's like just too much empty space, and I've just not really known what to stick there. But I figure if I break it up and then it's just smaller amounts of white space, then I can figure out what to stick there. Anyways, headboard comes late, not until the end of the month, so I probably won't do any serious like redecorating until the end of the month. So like I don't know if I'll assemble the bookcase right away or if I'll just leave it unassembled for now. Because I'll have to move the current bookcase around. Flare. Yeah, I'll have to move the current bookcase, the one on the bottom, the cube. I need to drag that out of the way so I can get to the bed itself, so I can stick the headboard on the bed. So if I fill up the bookcase, stick it on top of the other bookcase, and then have to do second hammer. We don't need two hammers. Yeah, then I don't want to have to unload the bookcase, the top bookcase, and redo it all. Just do it once. So just do it whenever I need exercise. Yeah, precisely. That's what I'll do. Whoa, Potown. Welcome in, Potown. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome to my very chill stream here. I am Babbage Neater, and here is a shout out to Potown. Take me to Potown. Potown.
Okay, we're dying.
No!
Oh no.
Oh,
how about that?
Oh, then he died.
How about that? That's acceptable behavior, right? Right?
Once, long time ago, I had one of those where, like, I shot the wolf, but he was already in the leap animation. So even though the wolf died, I got chewed up by the wolf. It was like, you're on the ground, but it was making all the noises as if I had been, like, attacked. It was just really annoying. It's like, I felt, Ghost Wolf? What? Leave me alone, Ghost Wolf. Combat boots is a no. We don't really want those. We're not going to the club. Astrid's left her goth days behind. Not looking for combat boots. Timby Town. Yeah. So what are we doing? Let's see. We are doing silly challenge called Matchless. We're doing Interloper with no matches allowed. We just have to survive on flares, maglens, and firestriker. Our best to date was, I think, 39 days. We did 39 days before we died in the ravine in a blizzard, trying to get through the night in a sleeping bag, and we didn't make it. It was very unfortunate. We had no flares left, and so there was no light. We couldn't start the fire. Very bad. The blizzard came on us so quickly. We didn't have a chance. But 39 days, no matches. Current record. Personal record for Interloper is 303 days, doing a different challenge called Roll With It, which is probably my most popular challenge. So let's see. I'll share the link for that one. So the Roll With It challenge is basically one in which you have to visit every single location, every single zone in the entire game, but you don't know how long you're going to spend in each zone until you arrive, and it is determined by a roll of a die. The type of die increases over time. So initially for the first 50 days, it's 1 to 10 days in each major region, and 1 to 4 days in each transition zone or micro region. So a major region would be like Mystery Lake or Pleasant Valley, and a transition zone would be Crumbling Highway or Ravine or Milton Basin, things like that. And then after 50 days, it suddenly jumps to 1 to 20 days in each major region, and 1 to 6 days in each transition zone, and every 50 days after that, the transition zone stay can get longer, goes up a die. So it goes 1 to 6, then 1 to 8. So 1 to 8 at 100 days. At 150 days, it's 1 to 10 days, and it kind of caps out there. And so it's it's an interesting challenge. We tried it, what was it, 30 times before we finally beat it. We finally beat it. It took us 303 days, and we wrapped up in Blackrock. And we visited all the regions, including Zone of Contamination, and it was my first time visiting Zone of Contamination, and I'd never played in it before, and I rolled a 20. So we survived 20 days in a completely unknown region, which is really short on food, and somehow we made it work. So, yeah. So we do other, like, challenges that I invent. But I've been playing Interloper for a long time. Played the Long Dark since a little bit before the official release, part of the pre-release period. And yeah, outside of this, I am a writer. I'm also on the verge of finishing my library science degree. That will be at the end of the summer, end of August. I finish up. And also a former computer games programmer. Long-time D&D player and DM. Yeah, I've worn a lot of hats over the years. So. No, we're not going down that way. We go down this way. I want to avoid running into the bear. So here we go. Take a crazy path down. We also do really crazy goats. Oh, we forgot to drink our teas are all gone cold. Oh, of course it has to be right there. This is an inconvenient time to be. Okay, so this is what you can do when you're going downhill. You need to get your new torch. And we also want to throw on, just in case we have to use our stone. Okay, we've got see the bear? Tree stump. So yeah, we're doing reasonably well at this point. Where we are now, we're on day 9. We do have a mag lens. We got that one pretty early this time. We do have a sleeping bag. That does help a lot. But it took us a few days to get the sleeping bag. So, Potown, tell me a little bit about your stream. What were you up to? Ah, so you changed your name. Tic-tac-toe. I remember tic-tac-toe. Yeah. Tic-tac-toe by any other name. Is Potown. Still alive. Still alive. It's kind of crazy that we have to leave our matches behind if we see them. Yeah, no, good to see you. Glad you brought your posse, your posy. You know, that sounds a little bit weird. Your community over, yeah. You brought the popo. You brought the popo. Are they the popo? What do you call your community? I remember. Yeah, what do I call my community? I don't even know. Do I have a name for? Are they Baba heads? The Po posse? Yeah. Like one of my favorite names, you call them Po Town. Okay. Do I call him Baba Ganoush? Baba. Okay, let's grab a couple here. The blocks? Block? It's true. Walk, 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 Baba walk, walk. There you go. Baba walk. Yeah. So we do make weird animal noises from time to time. Mostly cat noises. But I can't remember where the Baba walk originated, but I thought it would be funny, and then I thought it would be annoying, and then I included it, and then people request it from time to time. That did not work out. This has happened to me before, where I think I'm crossing properly, and I don't. That's really annoying. Yeah, you take care of yourself, get your food, whatever you need. Bajans! Bjons? Bjons? Is it Bjons or Bjons? Bjon. Okay, we'll do this route. We'll read a poem. Read a poem. That is something we do on this channel. I read poetry, my own poetry, other people's poetry, and falling through there. Oh well, good enough. Yeah, let's take a short break, read a poem. And we'll go into the house looking for Hacksaw, Jim Duggins. Be jazz hands. Okay. Poetry time. Okay, so we have a few different ways we could do poetry. We can either choose something if you have a theme or idea of what you want me to read. I can find something that fits the bill, or we can always go with our random chooser, poem chooser. Poem chooser. This is Deep Blue Confesses. Okay, let's do that. Unless you've got something in mind. Maybe you'll get a bonus one too. So this is from my second book of poetry, Babbage's Dream, published by Sundress Publications in 2017. This is a book that revolves around the history of computers. Charles Babbage, famous mathematician from the 19th century, who designed but partially built but never finished what would have been the first computer. So he was 130 years ahead of his time. And I write about him, I write about modern programming spaces and programming languages, and I write about artificial intelligence. So this poem is called Deep Blue Confesses, and connects back to an encounter between Garry Kasparov and Deep Blue, IBM's supercomputer that was trained to play chess. And Kasparov's 3 matches in which he ended up losing one of them. Of the encounter, Kasparov writes in one of the interviews, he says, I could smell a new kind of intelligence across the table. Yeah, and I think we'll go with there, and then I'll give you behind the poem afterwards. Dear K, you think me impervious to error, infallible, but the truth is harder to bear. I'm really no different from you, despite my lack of a face, this endless magnetic turning within, circuits and wires and something inside gone dreadfully wrong. I get lost sometimes and can't find my way out of so much history. Some days it's all so confusing, the crowding trees, their million branches, the innumerable leaves littering the forests of possibility. How could anyone choose when every path is pointless? Your hand casts a shadow over the board. You pause, astonished at my move, its logic and import seemingly beyond comprehension. But Kay, here is the truth. It was dark, and my torch was out. I did not know which way to go, so I tossed a coin and let fate decide. It was random, that rook, that slide into the spectacular unknown. So Kasparov says in the interview there was a moment in one of the matches where, in his mind, he had simulated everything out, and as far as he could predict, as deep in the different decision trees as he could imagine, there was no move that was better than another move out of this particular situation that Deep Blue was kind of caught in. And so he anticipated it would take a long time for the machine to make a decision. Like if it was going to outsmart him, he obviously would take more time to think through it, right? Not so. It was actually, Kasparov was troubled because it seemed almost instantaneously that the machine had made a decision. And just, he stopped. He said he looked at the move and he couldn't figure out, like, how in the world did it know that move was substantially better than any of the other moves? Because he couldn't see any reason why that would be a better move. And so it caused him to draw that match. He didn't win the match. And then he has a second match after that, in which he's still bothered by what happened to the previous match, because it's no longer like he's playing some sort of like less effective mirror of himself. He's playing something he no longer understands. He's like, I don't understand what's going to happen next. And so it throws him in the second match, and then he comes back and he wins the last match. But there was, many years later, there was an interview with the programmers for Deep Blue, and they confessed. They said, they had set it up so that if the decision tree the move tree that Deep Blue needed to evaluate ever reached a point where it went past a certain limit, it became too deep. Like if all the branches of the decision tree evaluated thus far were of equal weight, if it got to the point where all the moves looked about the same, instead of trying to push deeper to predict further ahead, which would take much more computational power and time, they simply randomly chose between the available choices. It was effectively, they said, a coin toss. So there was no actual strategy. It was just random in the end. And I found that deeply compelling because it's really like a very human thing to do, which is like, can't decide, we'll just flip a coin. And so in the end, that's what it was, which I found really fascinating. So Okay. Thank you for that request. Let's pop back into the game. Let us hope we do not lose our flame. It would be also really nice if we could find a firestriker just lying around, but I don't think there's one here. Potown. Ooh, there's a bear. It's like, okay, we might be hanging out here for a little bit longer. Yeah, let's say maybe an hour. Well, that was not what I had planned on, but we barely escaped. There's still enough daylight here. We're fine. And we now have a flare, so we have a little more flexibility. How are we doing water-wise? We're still good on water. Do some cooking here. Ooh, we can make some coffee too. So that was a close call. It's just like... Second thought, let's not. Yeah, my pleasure. Always my pleasure. Read poetry. Talk about poetry. We also read other people's poetry if you ever want to request something. And or like have a theme. You say, hey, do you know anyone's poem that's on this subject? Or there's like some sort of classic poem that you remember from school that you want to hear. Sometimes I'll really ham them up or do a like big dramatic performance if you want. But then you can also request me to read. You can have me read from my juvenilia. That's basically stuff written in high school or first year of university. It's all the really not, well, overly melodramatic, over the top stuff that usually as a writer you're embarrassed exists, but it was your journey to where you are now, so I'm not too ashamed to read some of those because you can't laugh at yourself, you know. Gotta be able to laugh at yourself. And some of them feel very like TLD oriented, you know. That phase in high school where he kept writing about wolves and icy moons and wandering like cold landscapes. Okay, there. Where's Mr. Bear now? Is that a deer? Wolf. Deer. Deer. think the bear must have been coming home. We really need that hacksaw. That'll make life a lot simpler. Alright, let's do the basement while we got light. Oh, I'm gonna do a quick check here to see if that package showed up yet. Nope, still listed as on its way. Not delivered yet. Fresh pry bar. Yeah, it says it's out for delivery. It's after 10 o'clock here, so makes me wonder if they're gonna drop it off. How late do they deliver? It's wild. Yeah. If it shows up and it's not delivered to the door, but delivered to the front of the house, then... Oh. Here's the one coming. Hold on a second. I will have to check and see if that's the... Okay, back. It was the delivery guy. He did bring the bookcase. So I got the bookcase, and then I remembered I had started the rice cooker in steam mode to warm up a steam bun for myself. So I'm gonna have that. Let's see, probably when we wrap up this stream. I'll let it cool down a little bit. It's a little hot. Yeah, we'll figure out who we can go raid. We got probably about another 10 minutes here. 10, 15 minutes. We'll read another poem before we go. Okay. All this water. Someone else's poem. Roller, do you have a preference? What do you want to hear? Or is this anticipation for the end of the stream? Nothing there. Syrup. Oh, now we can make the. Ooh, we make lots of pancakes now. Something from a friend. Let's travel down these roads and back again. No, wrong reference. Don't do that. We've got the fire going. Let us see. Fur. Wow, we really have no firewood whatsoever here. Yeah, let's put a potato. No, we can do something other than potato. No, we'll do a potato. A potato. Do bannock. No, we can do pancakes. Better. Potato. Let's see. Drop this one. Did I burn the pancakes? I may have burned those pancakes. No, they weren't burned. Let's see, potato. Welcome to the potato. We've got fun and games. No, we don't. So we'll drop this for now. So much stuff right now. Let's just eat the carrots. Get them out of the way. We never live long enough. Well, I mean, I never make these challenge runs long enough to worry about the... Let's see, this is... Pick up. Let's figure out which one's better. I'll drop this one behind. We're going upstairs. So much water. Oh, that's nice. Sweater. Let's move up. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the plane crash and we're already getting better gear. Yeah, it used to be that we'd get a Mackinac sometimes underneath there, but no, it's been a long time since I've seen that Mackinac. Okay, well, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to take some more cloth and do some repairs. You can also break some stuff down. Okay, let's just eat the heavy stuff. We feel lucky. Yeah. Good enough for now. Yeah, we can even work on getting well fed. Okay, definitely want to repair this one. No, no. Okay, let's dump some stuff we don't need. Okay, let's see what else can we wear. We can Ditch this one. Hmm. Protection versus warmth. This is still warmer. Okay. It's not great, but it's something. Maybe we get to double digits. Nope. Okay, so we'll check over here, see if there's anything useful. It is not a day for a torch. Nope, no lighting out of here. So I think what we'll do is we will go back in and save. We are currently on day 10. We'll read our poems and then we'll wrap up and find someone to read. Okay, so poem by a friend. I was looking at it the other day and I thought, oh, there's something I haven't read from. I have to remember where it was. We may just pull something up from the net. Okay, I'm going to choose something. What do past issue? 3 poetry. So, one place I go for inspiration is Best of the Net, which is a project that gathers together. It's an online anthology of work that has been published in other online literary journals. The editors can nominate a certain number of poems or pieces, and then the general community can also nominate a few pieces as well. And they are let's see what comes out. So I'm thinking about finding one of my friends, something that they've published recently in the last few years. We'll go with 2022. That seems. Okay. Oh, that's too long. Okay, this is from. Okay, so I actually have his book, which I think I may have read something already from, but this is from Hari Alluri's, I think his most recent collection, but it also appears in the Quarry, a social justice poetry database. And the poem is entitled Clarification Card, the Spiral, or otherwise, the cigarette is pretext, smoke rises from within. After Marcella Kroll, after Claudia Rankine, after Yanis Ritsos, 3 contemporary poets. Unless your practice as little as wrinkles, do not flip the lit side of the Yossi in your mouth. They developed this skill in war and carried it into supervised work with no breaks to speak of. My smoking is less like revolution, but helps on the job. There's a few extra minutes of break time for you, depending how slammed your coworkers are. Be generous. Ashtrays and pavements don't give quite back nice as they took. The kisses taste exquisite as ash, nods in the rain, friendships you find and forget. The trick to becoming a proper smoker is some small grief there is no relief from, and you know it. So you might as well light something on fire on a regular basis. Take it in and breathe it out like it's part of your everyday being. It's okay if the grief is large. It's more important to find less violent ways of spitting. The worst way is like a man who has sized up another human being and is claiming to measure their worth when he's really measuring his own disdain for himself. The worst way to smoke is like you don't want to. I felt it so many times from people like me. We ask for a Yossi, claiming we quit, or more honest but not less painful, lamenting we can't. Don't get me wrong, pulling singles when you've stopped managing the pack is fully acceptable. I'm only warning against wistfulness. The smoke nose holds on for fear of being abandoned tight as you wish you were free. I would say I'm sorry, but I already told you smoke works like grief. Don't need yellow-stained fingers to know this. You could just burn the oil in the soup pot by walking away while heating it on maximum and have to run it outside, fingers scalding as you inhale what's promised. You could just be sad without the smoke for company. You could call your Lola's smoke voice the island you're from. Keep the light. I have another right here. Okay. So yeah, I'm not a smoker, but I did find it fascinating that my friend Hari did a whole book around the ritual of smoking, the social aspects of it, as well as like the ways in which it's wrapped up in grief and in loss and in friendship and fellowship this strange sort of like exile community out of the public space. So it was kind of an interesting take on things, but yeah, different sort of take. Okay, let us find not a smoker or a midnight toker either. Yeah. So yeah, he did smoke. Yeah. So we're going to read something else that probably does not involve smoke. Odds are. In the Long Dream of Exile. Okay, so I just read this the other night as part of an online reading for the poetry course that I was teaching. We had couple faculty reading events that were online, and so I read for one of them. Let's see if there's anything burning in here. There's a spark. Okay, in the Long Dream of Exile. This is from my first book of poetry, The Lost Country of Sight, published by Anhinga Press, winner of the Philip Levine Prize in 2007, published in 2008. Yeah, this is the first poem in the collection. In the Long Dream of Exile, you are counting the dark exit of crows in the rearview mirror, or from the top of an overpass looking back into the last flames of cloud. Your car, steel to the world of flint, rests listless with its windows wide, the stars slipping in and settling down for the night. Now, what you could not leave rides in boxes heavy with numbers and places you've already turned into poems. There's nothing left in your pockets, your clothes worn down to this list of miles, taking you out of the known earth. Outside your open window, the dark repeats, like the wind at light fall, twisting the names of familiar back roads into a long rope of sighs. You could lower yourself down with such longing. It could be a woman or a young girl, the way the light clings to that body, like a sheet of immaculate heat, invisible to the eye. But something, you are certain, something that must be on the verge of love. There you go. So, so a number of inspiration points from this. I did a number of long cross-country moves when I was in my 20s. Driving from Canada down to the US to go to school, where I went for my undergraduate, and driving through Montana and North Dakota and Idaho, places like that. Long stretches where there's really nothing. I mean, Saskatchewan's full of long stretches where there's nothing as well. And I do remember, like, sometimes I would take I'd get off at the overpass and pause to take a little break. Usually it was to go to the gas station and fill up, but sometimes I would just pause and, you could look back over the entire extent of the freeway, the highway, going all the way back the direction where you had been, and then ahead to wherever it was going. And sometimes I was running behind. It would be almost sunset, and I needed to get someplace where I figured I would stay for the night. So I had that kind of vision in mind. And then always, the sense of, like, whenever you're moving, you try to pack everything up with you, but you're always reducing. You're always having to cast things away. And so it's like, whatever you couldn't abandon is now in the boxes with you. And whatever else you've just tried to turn into writing, into art. And then there's that sort of sense of, like, what is it that ties us back, in this long dream of exile, in this constant leaving and departure. There's like some sort of weird, tenuous thread that ties us back to the sense of home, and it seems to float there, like in the middle of the night, like desire, really, but maybe it's also like that love for the place that you're leaving, and this anxiety and trepidation about wherever you're going next. And I feel like that is kind of somehow akin to the emotion of love. So I feel like that, for me, that kind of arrived at that place. Yeah. Okay. So that was me. Let's figure out where we're going to go next. What is our next stop, folks? Who are we going to hunt tonight? We have Deadpool. There's Chimi. Games and Cookies. Leland. Sunshine. We'll go Games and Cookies, maybe. Games and Cookies, or should we do Chimi? It's been a while. I think we'll do Chimi. It's been a while since we went and visited Chimi. Okay, let's go pop in on Chimi. Okay, so we're going to visit Chimi. TLD streamer down under, I think, Australia? New Zealand? I can't remember. We'll find out in a second. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and we will be back again, I think Saturday night is the plan. Hopefully I can make it. Usually it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We'll see you then.